what? Why don't we hit the video and we'll just jump right into it? How's that sound?
Actually, because we have a really good show today. We're going to talk about what you need to do to really finish the season strong. So let's go ahead and hit the video and we will jump into sales logic.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity.
Well, maybe we'll hit the video. I'm trying. There we go. Whoops.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day,
maybe not, Mark. I'll try one more.
You know what? That's okay. Let's
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
All right, never mind. Let's just jump into sales logic today, Mark.
Yeah.
That's the problem sometimes with staying at resorts. They don't always have the greatest internet. But anyway, you had a good week.
Had a great week, was able to get involved in several conferences and so forth. And yeah, it's amazing what's happening out there, even at the end of the year. Now you were on the road all week, right?
I was on the road all week, and I am looking at another week of on the road. It really looks like foot on the gas. The season is ending strong. There's just I don't know. I was talking with Sherry Leviton about this the other day, and we were saying, I don't know if people need to finish budgets or what you need to do, but it is, but the fourth quarter is strong. So if you are not out there selling, you need to be out there selling because there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace right now.
You just hit on something. People got money to spend. They really do have money to spend. I'm hearing that time and time again. It's incredible. And now is not the time to be backing off by any means. So, hey, why don't you set up the show and then I'll get going with the topic and the question and we'll roll.
Yeah. All right. We are so lucky. We have a pretty loyal audience here at Sales Logic, and you join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And this is the format of the show. If you're new to it, put it on the calendar because we want you here every week. But basically, we cover a hot topic. But we start the show every week with a question from you, the viewer, my favorite part of the show. So if you have a question, just go to saleslogicpodcast.com. You can enter it there or throw it out there on social media, #SalesLogic, and we will pick it up from there. We suggest a book, something you should be reading or something that we've really tuned into that we think would be valuable. And just to ensure you get return on investment, you get better at sales, we finish every show with a lightning round. Those strategies you can put into place immediately. So Mark, what's on tap for this week?
Well, the topic this week is what's an efficient way to plan for year end and to make it happen? And the question fits in perfectly. The question comes from a person who I know. I was having coffee with a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me this question. I said, I'm going to get this on Sales Logic. I hope Joe is listening. Joe from Omaha says, hey, how can I stay focused on finishing this year when I know I'm going to miss my number? Shouldn't I just throw it in the bag and focus on next year?
Wow. Well, I'm curious. What was your response to him, Mark?
Well, my response to him was no. Something I learned playing sports. I remember every coach I ever had said you play to the buzzer, no matter how far ahead you are or how far behind. You never take your foot off the gas. That was the first thing I told him.
Yeah. I agree. Here's the thing. What is a little misguided about that question is that you believe you control when the customer buys. And as salespeople, we need to give up that belief. The truth is, I may be calling on people right now, and I'm assuming they're going to close by the end of the year, and they don't close until January. The other is, I got 2 calls this week for deals that have to be done in November. I would have never seen that coming. Had I been calling on them, I would have thought this would have been second or third quarter of next year. You don't control the buying cycle. Keep calling, keep selling, and give up when it's going to close. If you do that, you're probably going to hit your number by the end of the year, but also let go of that because you don't want to miss the deals that are going to close now. But the more calls you do now, you're going to position yourself for next year.
Yeah. The piece that I hate, if you give up now and you say, oh, it's all over, it's done. You know what happens? You're going to wind up giving up again. some other time.
Yeah.
And you begin getting this mentality that whenever you're behind, you give up. And I was coaching an insurance broker this week. And one of the things that he commented on, he said, I can't believe the number of deals that are coming through right now that myself and others in the office were laying the groundwork on months ago. And we never thought it was going to happen. We never thought, but boom, it's happening. There is a tremendous amount. And I said, why do you think it's happening? He says, well, because we didn't stop reaching out to them. This is the key. I'm telling this to everybody right now. You may think your prospecting efforts are not going anywhere. Trust me, they are. Because like you said, we don't know when the customer is going to buy. We've got to be there. We've got to be top of mind for them. Boy, stopping right now, saying, oh, I'm going to forget it, go to next year. Worst decision in the world you can make.
You know, I love that you brought that up. Last night at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, I had a prospect that I had been working on, somebody I've probably been working on 6 to 8 months. 6 o'clock on a Friday night, I got an email from her. I just happened to be looking at my phone. And she said, could you meet Tuesday or Friday of next week? They're like these little gifts from heaven because you've done the work. All of a sudden, they come through at a time when you least expect it. But if you haven't been making that efforts. I also love the fact, I really want to jump on what you said, is if you give up now, you're going to give up later. The moment I think I can't hit my number for this year, I slow down. And slowing down is one of the worst things you can do in sales. It's like having a term paper that's due in 6 months and you think, I'll get to it later. Maybe you weren't that kid in college, Mark, but I was definitely that kid in college. I never did anything until the last minute, and a big mistake. You can do incremental and small things every single day and keep selling, because if you're going to wait till January to get going, it's going to be February before you get going.
Hey, the best thing I learned in college was how to pull an all-nighter. So just saying. That's right. I was the champion of the last minute. Oh, that term paper is due at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 a.m. I guess I better start working on it. Yeah. Here's the situation. I can't stress, you have to keep when people sit here and back off right now, and I know people are backing off, and it's a shame, because not only are you giving up on business, but you are corrupting your mind. Because I would much rather go into next year with my foot on the gas, running hard. It's kind of like working out every day. You and I exercise a lot. And if I miss a day or two, it's easy. Well, it's okay. No, I got to get right back into it, because once you start falling off, it's really easy to fall off big time. Hey, we should segue now into really the topic, which was, what's an efficient way to plan for year end and then make it happen. And the focus is on planning for year end to get the sales now.
Yeah, I love the fact that you threw the word efficient in there, because that's what it's about. It's about really making sure that you are maximizing your time for year end. And I would say number one is you need a plan. Before you ever really sit down with these last few quarters of the year, get a plan. What's going to be the highest and best use of your time, meaning prospects and existing clients. I know I was working on my plan for year end, and I'm focusing on those lukewarm to warm leads. I've gotten in the door. I've had a little bit of conversation. I've got some kind of connection. Maybe you or Sam or Mary's introduced me to them. But I figure if it's warm, it's a highest and best use of my time.
Yeah, you know what? What I like about this is, don't think for a moment that the big companies are off the table, because many times the big companies, they've got that allocated money and they have to spend it. I'm running this situation right now, large company I'm working with, and I was talking with the CRO the other day, and he says, Mark, I'm going to get this done because I've got the money. I've got to get it spent. And this was a big company.
Yeah.
And he's going to push it through. So don't think for a moment, just because it's the end of the year, you can't go after bigger companies. But like you said, go after the opportunities that you think, hey, I love this comment.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. Go ahead and read it out for us.
Well, I got to put my glass on for it. When one is paid on revenue received upon delivery and lead times are now spilling into January, it's difficult to stay focused for Q4 sales. So now I'm focusing on 22 for my Q1 commission. Okay, but here's the whole thing. Yes, that can be the case in terms of the delivery. But what does this mean? If you back off now, you'll get no money in Q1. And so you got to keep pushing every quarter, realizing that the money is going to come one quarter out. And what you describe, Adam, is not unlike a lot of salespeople. This is very, very common. I know salespeople that book deals and they don't get paid for 6 to 9 months to a year later until installation or something of that matter.
Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna say, Adam, is one thing that troubles me here is when we sell, I don't want you to focus on your commission check. I'm a really big believer you just sell and do what is right for the client, and your commission check is going to take care of itself. I just can't emphasize enough, we don't control the buying cycle. Adam, what I like about what you're doing is the fact that you're staying focused on sales. I'm going to assume that if I was your prospect and I wanted to pull the trigger in December, you're not going to try to push me to January. You're going to let me close that deal when I want to close the deal. We as salespeople have got to remember we do not control the buying cycle. People have a choice of who they buy from, when they buy, and where they buy. And the moment they feel like we're adjusting the schedule to fit our needs, they bolt. They're out of there. So keep your foot on the gas, keep selling. I understand what you're saying, but those ones who want to come through in Q4, let them come through in Q4.
Yeah. I'm going to use one more sports analogy. I've had a chance to get to know some of the top coaches in various sports. And one thing that they always share with me, the scoreboard is just the scoreboard. You have to look at commissions as the scoreboard. And what's very interesting is I had one coach, Tom Osborne, tell me, he says, he would never look at the score. He had 7 different metrics that he was measuring, that his coaches were measuring over the course of the game. And they knew that if they exceeded in those 7 metrics, they would win the game. And he never really bothered with the scoreboard, because the only thing he was concerned about was the clock, the calendar. Same thing in sales, the calendar. But the commission piece, the score, takes care of itself if you're doing the activities right. And that's what Coach Tom Osborne focused in on with his team. Focus on the activity. What's the action you have to do, and you'll achieve success.
Which is a great lead back to this topic. I mean, if you're a sales leader out there and you're listening to us right now, or you're thinking about a way to be efficient in Q4, think about your sales activities. Again, Mark mentioned exercise. If we step on the scale every day, and I know some people do that, I particularly don't. I'm not so much interested in the result as I am interested in the behavior. Focusing your energy on the behavior, I believe, takes you past the result that you're looking for. I always, when I led sales teams, we'd always set a goal out there, but I was far more interested, was my sales team doing the behaviors? And if we maximize the behaviors, could we exceed the goal? So if you want to be efficient, think about the most efficient behaviors that are going to get you to the goal.
Spot on. Now, there are a couple things that you can do, and that is look at the calendar and begin to work your way back. What are the holidays? Where are you going to be closed? When can orders come in? When's the last day to get credit approved? When are all the last days for various things? Get those on the calendar right now, so you know, okay, this is the window of time I'm working with. What does that do? That allows you to then begin saying, okay, here's the window of time I have now. How do I allocate that in the most efficient manner to allow me to go back to what you said, Meridith, focus in on those opportunities that have the ability to close now?
Yeah. You mentioned holidays too. And for those listening, you've heard me say this 1,000 times, maximize holidays. If you want to maximize the fourth quarter, maximize holidays, because that's when your competitors are taking your foot off the gas. Now, you don't don't want to go in and be some type of pushy person around holidays, but use them an opportunity to be visible. I mean, there's Adam focusing on the first quarter. What a great way to get in front of people who are probably going to buy in first quarter by making a visit to them somewhere around the holidays, wishing them a wonderful holiday, wonderful time with their family, and setting up that very first appointment for the first week in January to help them get back on track. So maximize holiday time.
Yeah, and I'll say even push it further. You know, I'm a big champion of Friday afternoons are a great day to sell. It's a great day to close deals because people are a little more laid back. I find like the week of Thanksgiving, it's a great week to prospect. It's a great week to connect with people. I love setting meetings even the last couple of weeks of December. Why? Because people's calendar is a little more flexible. I'm gonna get that book, but minimally, and you set it. You set that meeting first week of January. Now, here's why I like the tail end of December, first week of January. Most salespeople kind of shut down, and they don't even start to pick up the phone until the first or second week of January. That means they're not getting any meetings until weeks 3 and really 4 of January. You're already closing deals. You see, you go into the new year with the power you came out of the previous year.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. A lot of times we say around the holidays, we don't want to bother people. You know, they're busy. When are your prospects not busy? And if your prospects aren't busy, you're calling the wrong prospects. So a lot of times, I love that for Christmas, New.
Yeah, well, one of the we lost Meridith there for a second, but that's okay. One of the easiest ways to have a reason is you reach out and call people and you're thanking them for the business. Hey, it's the end of the year, right? It's the end of the year, so you're thanking them for the business. And don't tell me you're disturbing people. Don't tell me you're no, you're thanking them for their business, and it's amazing the conversation that you have. I love doing this, and I love doing it the first couple weeks in December, and I'm amazed at the amount of business I come away with.
You know,
we lost you there for a second, but you're back. It's great.
Well, you know, you are bothering people if you don't have solutions, but anybody who wants to call me between Christmas and New Year's, who has ways I can make money or save money or get time back on my calendar, you're not bothering me. So think about that. If you're just reaching out, I always say that a sales call is a privilege, and you need to think about it that way. You're asking people for something that is so precious, and that's their time. So make sure you have an idea or a solution that can maximize it. If you do that, you're not bothering them.
Well, that means you don't call them, hi, you ready to buy? Hi, you ready to buy? I want to bounce this to the top of your list. That's right. You have to bring value and insights to that person. And that's the big, that's what makes sales a privilege, because we're helping our customers. And I don't care, you know, customers need help 365 days a year. The salesperson who shuts down in the fourth quarter, the best way to describe them is they're the person who wants to shut down because they want to believe there's no business out there, because they want to kick into lazy mode. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have that attitude, guess what? There won't be business out there. And guess what? Next year in the fourth quarter, you're going to shut down again. The year after, you're going to shut down again. And guess what? Then you're suddenly going to be a 3/4 salesperson. So maybe your company should really take 25% of your pay away from you. Just saying.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I've got a great comment here from Jack Hubbard, our friend, our fan, and a real legend in the sales industry. He said he asks their clients to make a call on 12/24. Just a reminder, that is Christmas Eve in the morning, when other bankers won't call. I ask them to a business book as a Christmas gift. Keeps on giving. So smart. I mean, you know, wasn't it Woody Allen who said, you know, the big part of success is just showing up? That is so true in sales. You need to be there when your competitors aren't. And again, if you can make money, if you can save money, if you can help people get their time back or sleep a little bit more solid, you are not bothering them.
And I love Jack's tone. Jack's help. It's all about helping the person. It's about helping the person. This is what's so key. This is what's so spot on. I mean, it really is. I think when you don't see sales as a job or a profession, but you see it as a lifestyle of helping people, that's when you adopt this mindset that Jack's got. I mean, Jack has had that mindset for years, and it's why he is so incredibly successful. There's a reason why the top 1% are the top 1%, because they're doing things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, I just love the fourth quarter of the year. It is just such a strong quarter. If you can keep your energy up, if you can keep going, if you can keep that foot on the gas, it's amazing the opportunity that you can find in the fourth quarter. But you've got to maximize your time.
Yeah, and the worst case that happens is the deal doesn't close in the fourth quarter, but it closes in the first quarter. So guess what? Now you're off running fast in the first quarter. Because again, I see so many people. I think the number one reason people get behind in the year, in their quarter, is because the first quarter slips past them, because they don't optimize the first quarter. And the way you optimize the first quarter of the year is by finishing the fourth quarter strong and by continuing. So I'm going to stay out there prospecting. I'm going to stay out there selling, because if stuff doesn't happen, if stuff doesn't close in the fourth quarter, chances are it's going to close in the first quarter, and that's going to get that year off to a fast start. Never take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, you should use the fourth quarter to reap the rewards of all the work you've done in every other quarter. I mean, to me, fourth quarter is really about follow-up. It's about following up on all those leads you called in the first, second, and third quarter that didn't turn.
Yeah, so spot on. Hey, we lost Meridith again here. She's going to come back. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and segue right now into the book. And I want you to check out this book. It's been out there a few years. It's written by our good friend, Jill Conrath. Jill is a masterful salesperson. She's written some incredible books. We've featured some of her books before. But the book I want you to zero in on right now is More Sales in Less Time. Now, Jill shares in her book really cool strategies, and I'm not going to steal them from her. I want you to go buy the book. I want you to read the book, but More Sales in Less Time. She really shows you. And the strategies right now, even though she wrote the book for 365 days a year, they really zero in on the fourth quarter of the year. So check out More Sales, Less Time by Jill Conrath. Hey, let's go ahead and jump into the lightning
Mark, can
round.
I just add?
Jump.
Well, I just want to add that Jill Conrath got married this weekend. In fact, she's getting married today. So, so it's kind of a nice little, yeah, it's a nice little present to go out and get her book from truly probably one of the most successful sales trainers, sales speakers in the industry.
That is outstanding. I'm going to pop her a note. That is really, really cool. I haven't seen Jill in a couple of years. That's good. Hey, let's jump into the lightning round. The lightning round, before we lose Meridith again, lightning round. Quick tips for finishing the year strong.
Then we're going to go back ahead, get a plan and a strategy in place. Take Saturday afternoon, put it together.
Excellent. I'm going to say make sure that you go through your calendar, look at the end of the year. When's the last date that you can take orders? When's the last date for credit approval? All those things. Get that in your calendar right now.
Go back to all your warm leads. Look at who didn't close in first, second, and third, and build your pipeline, build your prospect list from your.
And I'm going to say go to your existing customers and again, look to them for additional business, because people have got budgets. They have money that they can spend. I'm going to throw in one more here right now. Make sure you mark your calendar with the days that you're going to take off, because if there are certain days that you need to take off for various holiday functions, mark that on your calendar. So again, you don't get caught surprised. Welcome back, Meridith. Jump in again.
Thank you. I keep coming in and out here. The other thing I would say is really start to think about your existing customers, people you have good relationships with and a strong history, and think about who typically has budget this time of year, who's typically looking to maximize their budget, and go out and make a call on that.
Use this time of year right now to be reaching out and calling people and thanking them for their business. Even people who never bought from you. It's amazing the conversations you can have, but you have to be picking up the phone and making the call. Why don't you share one more? I'll share one more. We'll close it down before we lose this connection again.
All right. Think about how you can act in this holiday season. Think about what you're going to do at Thanksgiving, what you're going to do at what you're going to do on holiday parties. How are you going to use those to get visible for the customer?
That's outstanding. And I'm going to say, hey, power your way to the end of the year. Like I had a basketball coach that shared with me, you play to the buzzer. You play all the way to the last second. So, hey, with that, it's time for us to, well, say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, hey, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter. Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity, and the sale becomes logical. Hey, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.